2020 has been a hard year, and Thanksgiving is next week. In this video, I'm going to give you 4 reasons to be grateful despite whatever challenges are going on in your life right now. I'm Hava Schultz, the host of this YouTube channel, a place where I provide information and inspiration on how to live a stylish, healthy, happy, minimal lifestyle. You'll want to stick around until the end if you want to hear something that I am going to open up about that I have never posted on social media about before. So stick around until the end if you want to hear about that. Now let's start with number 1. If you are watching this video, somehow you have access to the internet. The internet is definitely something to be grateful for right now because it keeps us connected. Be it something like this, where you come to my channel and look for some sort of helpful positivity in a way to up-level your life, or I personally like to turn to podcasts. I'm really into Sahara Rose's podcast called The Highest Self Podcast, just as a way of feeding my soul and giving me great food for thought. Also, it's great at keeping us connected on a very individual level. I mean, I'm DMing with my friends on Instagram a lot. If you have Wi-Fi, you might even be using the internet for your texting purposes. And for a lot of us, it's helping us maintain our jobs, be it with a corporate company where you can Zoom or use Google's or whatever, all these different chat hangout things. Like my dad's been working from home for several months at this point through his corporate company, and I'm still working remotely with tutoring, where I literally use Skype or FaceTime or other internet-based video calling services, Google Docs, all this stuff and resources to help me maintain an income. We have the internet to thank right now for keeping us connected as friends so that we can get quality input to our brains and also to actually maintain a job and get paid. So the internet is definitely worth being grateful for right now. The second thing I would recommend you look around with a new set of eyes and be grateful for is your home. This sounds really obvious because when people say, what are you grateful for? They say food, water, shelter. But I want you to think about this in a more immediate point, not just I have somewhere with a roof over me, which is definitely something to be grateful for. But a lot of us right now are still living with our parents despite being in our 20s, mid-20s, late 20s. Hey, I am in my childhood bedroom here at my parents' house. I totally get it. And even if you don't get along with your family, you have something to be grateful for, that you have a place to ride out the storm. In some form or fashion, I think you've got something to be grateful for as far as having a home, whether it's literally just a place to ride out the storm, whether you do have that familial support, or just to have a way of saving money. Whatever it is for you, I want you to just find a reason to be grateful. Even if it does go back to that fundamental, just you have a roof over your head and you are not out on the streets. Thank goodness. If you do have your own place, because so many of us are still stuck living with our parents, although I hope that you don't frame it that way, because that is a very negative way of thinking about it, but a lot of us are really having to rely on support right now. I think that if you do have your own place, look around and be so grateful, because whether you've maintained your job or your ability to pay rent, or you actually got into a new place during this pandemic. I know a couple of people nearby in my life who have. That's incredible. So just try to not take that for granted. This is a great time to take a step back, look around you, physically look around you, and say, wow, I am so fortunate. It's important to be grateful for the people around you. Yes, if you're living at home, your family might drive you crazy, or if you have an annoying roommate, but at least you're not alone. There's something to be said for not being isolated, so appreciate the fact that you do have people in your everyday life that you can interact with. And if you do live alone, be appreciative of the people who make that extra effort to stay in touch with you, whether it's through phone calls or FaceTime, whatever it is, the fact that you are able to keep in touch and other people are willing to give you that time. Even if you reach out and initiate a lot of it, they do not have to reach back. They don't have to answer your phone calls. They don't have to spend 30 minutes on the phone with you. So that's something to recognize, that you still have people around you, even if it's not physically. For me, I'm having this a lot right now with an aunt of mine, and we're staying in touch, and I'm really grateful that we can spend time chatting on the phone and she gives me that time. I'm grateful for my family that I do happen to be friends with, and I'm grateful for it. And then also the people who aren't in my immediate everyday that I can remain in touch with. Thank you to the beautiful people around me. That means you, Mom, Dad, Leia, Aunt Mary, and everybody else that I'm staying in touch with that I don't have time to list here. This is a quick mid-video reminder to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for this channel if you're having a good time. This may may seem like a really obvious one in 2020, and I think it's worth mentioning and expanding upon. Your life is something to be so grateful for. So many people have lost their lives due to the 2020 tragedies, be it the pandemic, be it due to natural disasters or police brutality, any of these other unfortunate things going on right now. So first, be grateful to have your life. And the thing that I said I was gonna open up about, I don't wanna get too into the details, but I will mention it here for you, is that I actually have been in a very serious car accident before, and it was so serious that I consciously faced my death in the moment. So sometimes what I do, and I only reserve this for the times when I'm feeling really low, is I will think back to those really scary moments when I didn't know if I was gonna live or die, and recognize that no matter how bad things may seem, or how much I wish things would be different, I'm so glad that I'm still here and I have the opportunity to carry forward and the chance for that improvement to happen. I don't really like to get into this too often because it is really heavy, and my heart is beating just sharing this with you and making this public. I mean, someday I do plan to share all of the details. My story is so incredible, and I do share it with people when they ask me about it in my everyday life. Considering how crazy the story was, I'm actually kind of shocked that I have the ability to talk confidently about it and not get triggered by it, but I still try to not talk about it. Someday we'll make a Hollywood level documentary production on what I went through and amazing takeaways that you can all apply to your lives without having to go through a life or death scenario. But for right now, it's just, if you've ever been in a life-threatening situation, think back to those moments if it doesn't make you too upset, and recognize that, wow, I am still here, and that's amazing. But like I said, that does get kind of heavy, and if you've been around for a while, you know that I like to keep things lighthearted and upbeat on my everyday life. It's not just on this channel, it's in my every waking moment as much as I can. Therefore, instead of thinking back to something so severe, a lot of times what I do if I'm feeling kind of upset is I will literally look around me and appreciate what I have. There's this cool pumpkin behind me, and that's a joke, but actually that's something to be grateful for. How cool that I have this prop for this Thanksgiving themed video. I have a beautiful kitty cat with me that you see here a lot. This is Tiki, for those of you who don't know her. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably see cats in my stories all the time. I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for the photos on the wall that I have framed. I'm grateful for having my own bedroom. You know, earlier I was talking about you need to be appreciative of your space. I am grateful that I actually have a whole bedroom to myself. I have my own space. I always have a place I can go to recenter. If you feel like you can't see anything, sometimes I close my eyes and I think about the things that are intangible, my relationships, my memories and experiences, the talents and gifts that I have, things that I can't see. The key takeaway here, I know I've gone a little bit long on this one, but when it comes to appreciating your life, without having to go into the seriousness, unless you really feel like you need that kind of jolt to lift you up, I would recommend that in your everyday life, find reasons to be grateful. Look around you, close your eyes, whatever it takes to think about the things to be grateful for, and therefore you're being grateful for your life. Your turn. Now that I've told you 4 things that you can be grateful for, I want you to comment below something you're grateful for right now. It can be one of the things on my list, it can be something totally different, but I would love to get a string of comments going below where we all have this long list together of the things we're grateful for. Kind of like a Christmas list, but for Thanksgiving. If you want to support me on my conquest to create for you full-time, please go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I am grateful to you for being here, and I will see you on the next video. Happy Thanksgiving!